Meet that darkness and grow from it. Let it change your life. Don't ignore any of these feelings. Like, you have to grieve, you have to mourn, you have to grow. Walk through that fire because the other side is so beautiful.
It is.
Should we tap our little steel-toed tips together?
Oh my gosh.
Tappy, tappy, tappy. Toes, touching toes.
Yes, welcome to the Rooted Recovery Stories podcast. I'm opening this show, Mari.
Hi, Patrick.
Wait, I'm not done.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. We're so glad that you are, audience. And if you can't tell, you're in for some laughs and maybe some tears. Who can tell? But I'm here with... Hold on. I don't normally do this, but I actually wrote an opening for you that I am very proud of, and I want to read it. Wow. Today we're diving deep into beauty, resilience, and the power of transformation, inside and out. My guest has painted the faces of some of the biggest stars, but behind her own incredible glow is a story of heartbreak, healing, and fierce self-love. Get ready to laugh, cry, and be inspired as we chat with the hilarious and unstoppable Mari.
Oh my goodness.
Wait. Who turned her pain into purpose and reclaimed her life with intention and grace.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Wow, that was amazing. I'm honored.
Good.
Beautiful. I didn't write anything for you, but I can...
That's it.
Damn it.
Show's over.
Show's over. Get out. Oh, God. We're wearing the same thing pretty much.
We are. So since we're talking about what things look like, I just feel like I have to address my hair. It's big.
It's big.
It's Gwen Shamblin big, Pentecostal, higher the hair, the closer to God. Right now, I'm
a little there. Gwen Shambling inspired, possibly.
Yes. I mean, it's not teased. And so I know you didn't ask, but I have to say, because our mutual friend, Taryn Feldman, is the one responsible for this.
Well, she's responsible for leading you. She's responsible for guiding you. She's not actually responsible for today's.
Good point. Exactly. She did not do this to my hair. She was kind enough to give me some advice, and I chose to practice getting ready for, instead of practicing when I didn't need to.
Sure. Did you use one of those heated curlers?
Yes.
Like a heated
brush, round brush thing.
Okay.
Yeah. With a serum she told me about, but I think I put way too much in it, and it
I mean, for me, I think it's actually tamed down a little bit from when you first walked in.
Oh, good. Okay.
So I feel like towards the end of this,
I opened the door and I actually had to turn sideways and do, scoot in like I was line dancing through the door.
At least you're noticeable.
I mean,
at least we can find you in a sea of a billion people. Oh, there he is. Oh, there's the hair. Oh.
I'm dead. I don't know if I want to be known for that.
I think your hair's beautiful. I mean, listen, it's better to have too much than not enough, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is true.
Okay. Is this a new length for you?
Oh yeah, it's I've never had it long, actually long before, and I've had one trim since I started growing it out. And people keep asking me, they're like, "Well, where are you going with this?" I'm like, "I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying something new."
Yeah, you don't know how you're gonna because there's the whole process of what you have to do with it every day, dealing with it, living with it. Is this something that I enjoy enough for the payoff?
Yeah.
Do I like the way it looks as it's going? You can't just look at pictures and be like, I want that, so that's what I'm going for.
Totally. You got to try it out.
Yeah.
You got to try it out, like anything.
Yep.
How do you know if it's going to work until you try it? Give it a shot. Listen, what's your natural texture like? You a little wavy?
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever let it go? Natural? Put a little sea salt in it? A little texture spray?
Sea salt makes my hair tangle.
Okay.
I think I had a trauma response when you said that.
Okay. I know, you kind of stiffened up a little bit.
I can't run a hairbrush through my hair when I put sea salt in.
Oh, I have the perfect product for you.
Can you tell me
yes,
what it is?
It's called Days of Dirt. It's coconut based. It's my go-to. Put it when your hair is a little damp and let it air dry, and it doesn't weigh it down. It doesn't make it sticky. It doesn't make it tangle. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And but can you use it like heating things on it afterwards?
Yeah. Yeah. You can use it a before or an after.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Because I know I heard recently there's some like, what is it? There's some products you're not supposed to because it'll fry your hair. Right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know everything.
We're not.
But there's so much to keep up with. Like, it's exhausting.
You seem so exhausted, Marty.
I'm gonna take a nap right now.
Are you able to take naps?
I can. I love a good nap.
I do too.
I do. You are?
Yes. Oh,
you're a napper.
Yes.
You're also a Leo, and you're also a 7. Mm-hmm. Same. Yeah. Same. Mm-hmm. See, do you get up in the morning and hit the ground running?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't. People are like, I need to be quiet and slow and blah, 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 and whatever. I'm like, no, I'm ready.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then around 3:00 happens, right?
Yeah.
And then, could use a little nappy noo-noo. Not a long one.
Well,
although sometimes they have turned into 2 hours.
I just about because I have to work in sprints, so I wake up wake up super early, and by the time that comes, it's like, okay, I got to separate it out, and then work a little more before dinner or after dinner.
Same.
Sometimes at 9:00. So.
Yeah, and then I'm ready for my second shift.
Yeah.
Hard, and I can give 100% to my second shift.
Yeah,
because I'm not sluggish. I think everyone should take naps.
I absolutely agree. And the people that don't know how, they're like, I can't take a nap. I'm like, you're not trying.
That's why Europeans know what they're doing.
Yes.
And that's why I also identify
and like
as
some
European.
Spanish countries too, right? Like siestas, yeah.
I identify as European, 100%. Mm-hmm. What a great way to live your life. Everything just shuts down. You can either go home, take a little nap, or go to the cafe and have a glass of Pinot.
Well.
Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. If you're of Spanish culture
and not
sober.
Okay. We can talk about products and tips and makeup and all the things all day long, but
even though I didn't give you a tip on the product that damaged your hair before you put it in, I was like, I don't know. Good tip.
Wait, I don't think my hair's damaged.
No. You said there's a couple products that if you put it in.
Oh,
before,
right.
What is that? And I said, okay. I don't know.
That's okay. You'll figure it out.
We'll Google it.
Yep. So, what? Were you always a makeup artist? Is this what your dream as an adult was?
No. It just kind of fell into my lap.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you were good at it, or an opportunity to learn?
Because I was good at it and I never gave up on it. Yeah.
Okay. So just because you were good at it doesn't mean something had to happen to make you want to fight for it, doing it well and making a career out of it.
Sure.
What was that?
I think that I never really had a clear direction what other path I wanted to go in. So that was my stability. Was makeup, or this career that I've chosen. And it was something that I acquired this incredible skill over so many years.
Yeah.
So, and I became really, really good at it, and it opened up so many doors for me. But there were so many things that I wanted to do. Now as a 44-year-old woman, I can sit here and go, I can do them now. But then...
Yeah. Do you mean professionally, or just other things in life, or what?
Yeah, professionally, other things in life that I had this big fear of because I didn't, whatever, we're not good enough or this or that or scared. Yeah. So I just kind of stayed.
Man, I think we can all relate to that. Yeah.
My whole life, I stayed down this one little path of, I don't know, consistency, or feeling like this is just where I'm headed, or maybe, I don't know. For a long time, I was like, I guess I'll just stay mediocre.
Did you feel like you were good enough at that, and the fear that you couldn't be as good at something else made you not even explore the other opportunities?
Fear. Yeah, sure. Not feeling good enough or whatever it was. This whole block that I've recently escaped from. And it is the most freeing feeling I have ever felt in my life.
I love it. And I can feel that energy like crazy. So, but clearly there's just like with everything, there's highs and lows. What are the when you look back at your experience from the beginning, what are some themes of like really what attracted you to like the highs of doing this?
I think that it's different every day. The excitement of I'm not constantly going into the same job every single day. There's always new people that I'm around.
Yeah.
And
that sounds terrible to some people. You just traumatized half our audience.
Sure, because they like the consistency of knowing exactly what they're doing every single day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the same people, and then you know what you're what. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love people. I mean, that's
Same.
Terrence. Yeah. I love meeting new people. I love being on different sets. I love traveling and the unknown. I love the unknown. And so that's been, I think, the biggest part of my job that I've truly loved the most. Definitely. And being creative and, making hot people hotter.
Wait, I feel like that's probably got to be the easy. Like, what's easier, making someone who's not genetically as aesthetically pleasing, using makeup to elevate their appearance, or making I'm trying to be kind with my words of describing, making someone who's already,
Listen, some of my favorite clients, even just doing weddings, doing the grandmother, the little old grandmother, who I turn her around and everyone's like, and even I'm like, oh my God, you look amazing.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. The people that would not, feel uncomfortable wearing it or don't have any idea how to do it or, those are my absolute favorite. And those are always the ones that make me feel so good because they go, you are an artist. Thank you.
That makes sense too, because I think when, if we look at like from those of us who aren't in your industry, from a media consumption perspective, like the makeover stuff is of where they take what you're talking about. That's always what audiences go for, and the reason why the extreme makeover is always such a buzz. So what's the low from your career that you would say like it was a consistent that was really difficult to deal with?
I think now I can understand how, for me, I guess I was made to feel smaller, less than. Because we are. Because at the end of the day, can I say this?
You can say it, but before you go into that, I want you to define when you say smaller, less than, are you saying then in comparison to the other artists that were working alongside you or the people that you were serving? Or both?
A little bit of both. Just the industry.
No. I mean, because I don't. I don't.
Egos and listen, I see people. I see humans, and we are all the fucking same. And I'm not here to ever think that I'm better than anybody or less than anybody. And I'm at a place right now in my life where I deserve to be treated like that.
Right.
Because I love who I am.
Yes.
And I'm going to treat you the exact way. We are all mirrors of ourselves. And in this industry, there's a certain ego.
Yeah.
Right? That we have to feed, that we have to people please, that we have to make ourselves a little bit smaller, that we allow people to speak to us in a certain way or make us feel a certain way. And it takes a lot of backbone, and it takes a lot to be able to just absorb that.
Yeah. would I be wrong in saying that there's a little bit of a looming fear or concern always that when you talk about shrinking or always making sure that you're right size so that like you don't feel, because you're not a corporate job, you're not doing, you're working for yourself, and you're basically always, you're your walking resume. We're all our own walking resume, but I mean, like at any given point, I have to think you're thinking about like what I do and say right now is going to affect whether or not I have jobs next month.
Sure.
And that's got to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I'm not saying everybody either. And this is what I'm manifesting for myself right now, because there are beautiful people in this industry. And there are people, there is my person out there who I will find that is going to make me feel like me, seen and heard and respected. And I understand where I am in the pyramid, right? I am the help. I just don't like being treated like the help.
Right.
Yep. I know where I stand. I know what my job is. I know I'm not the artist. I'm not this. I'm not management. I don't have all the power. I don't have say. I'm here to create and make you look beautiful and feel good about yourself. But as long as that's reciprocated, then that's my boundary now. And wherever that leads me, so be it.
So when that has not been reciprocated in the past, what did you lose? What do you feel like was withheld from you that you should have had?
Oh, God. A piece of me. Pieces of me. Pieces of who I am. I sat in people's worlds for a long time. I lived in their worlds for a long time, and I forgot about myself. I lost pieces of who I was, for a career, for a paycheck, for what? And that's where I am right now. And that's why we've started this new podcast and this new journey. And that's why I'm sitting here going, I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah. I want to dig a little bit more into that for the individual or individuals that resonates with. Did you know in it that you were absent of those parts of yourself?
I felt it. Oh yeah, I felt it. I mean, I didn't realize how much so until it was removed from me, how lost I got in it. But yet my soul always knew, And the body starts telling you. I started getting pains in my head. I mean, from my marriage and where I was in my career and the relationships that I had around me, it started manifesting in my body and parts of my soul that I was like, I can't pinpoint exactly what this is, but I know it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
There's something that just doesn't feel right. I'm not this person. I don't say these things. I don't allow people to speak to me like this, but yet I am. So yeah, I knew. I just didn't know how to get out. Right.
At a certain point though, like that cup or that pot starts to boil over, which sounds like it did.
Yeah. And then it's removed, you go, oh, shit.
So, oftentimes we talk about an emotional bottom from, whatever pain experience that we're talking about that's, affecting our life. So, I know you just mentioned that you, the process of your divorce. Can you take us through what was your bottom, if we were to describe that, of realizing, taking action?
It's a very layered, beautiful, complex story, Patrick, as most are.
Yeah. I think that the best place to start with on that is what were the causes and conditions that you were experiencing first related to all of that started to wake you up and get you to a place of action?
Okay, let's think about this one, because it's like a faucet, right? It's like just a dripping little faucet that never gets fixed. And over time, that sink just starts getting flooded and filled, and then it's just pouring out. So I would say for me, it was at my husband's lowest, where I shut down emotionally, and I became numb. I just checked out. I just really checked out. And I thought, because I had all of these other things, this successful career and this incredible bank account, and I'm in the gym and I'm doing all these things, that I'm thriving, that I'm successful.
Wait, you were using external stuff to receive internal validation?
Isn't that wild?
Where on earth did you get that idea?
God, humans are so wild. We're ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're ridiculous.
We are. And just getting ridiculouser.
Just getting ridiculouser. I'm like,
hey guys, I think that's our title. Just getting ridiculouser.
Like, I'm doing all of these things. I expect you to be right here with me, human. Come on, man. Catch up with all these things that I think are important and successful, that are filling my cup and validating me.
Yeah.
Catch up. I expect you to. Who the fuck am I?
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So I had checked out, and something that I pride myself in.
You checked out because your husband was at his bottom. Can you describe, I know this is his story.
Sure.
But can you describe
This is my
whatever
perspective.
part you can from your perspective of what that, paint a picture for us of what that was?
And number one, this is my perspective. This is my story.
Yeah.
This is nothing, his is completely different. And I know it is. He was working from home. And he went from sitting here to sitting on the couch to for staying up until 3 or 4 in the morning and not getting sleep and not exercising and not eating well. And his mind started, and he, is a veteran. So he has a lot of trauma there, and just a lot of trauma, period, which I didn't really realize.
Trauma that unprocessed, undealt with? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That I didn't realize until like after this, how much he really has not dealt with at all. So yeah, and it was, we got married.
Wait, I forgot to ask you, where is the notorious Mari from? Because it's definitely not Nashville.
She's from New York. She's from New York.
You're from New York.
She's from New York.
Get out of here.
Right outside New York City. Have you ever heard of it? They call it the Big Apple.
Yeah, the Big Apple. So you weren't in the city, as they call it.
I did live in the city, though. I lived in Queens. I lived in Astoria.
Oh, of course you did.
Of course I did. Call me. We'll talk
Can
about
we
it.
talk like, talk. I want to talk.
You want to talk like this the rest of the time? All right, here we go.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm from New York, born and raised. And he just became like a really depressed piece of shit, and I didn't want any part of it.
So he had some serious mental health struggles.
Big time, and it kind of really came to a fruition.
Sure.
Fruition. But I had pride myself in my loyalty.
Yeah.
That was our number one. I always knew that I could leave him in a room full of like a million girls, and he could only have eyes for me, and I know that truly. And I would never do anything to hint like, here's my phone, here's this. You go do that. I'll go do this. Live our lives. Trust was always. We never even talked about it until I checked out. Until I shut down and checked out, and did something really shitty. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't emotional. It was, in the grand scheme of life, 7 minutes of this little bleep of inappropriate, dumb text messages between me and, I'm going to tell you after who it was because you're going to lose your shit. This person. And you know when your partner is not in it anymore. We know. We know when things are off.
Yeah.
So he knew. And he went through my phone one night and found these wildly inappropriate text messages. And I went, okay, all right. I was like, he knows that there's a really big problem. This is a big problem. And I thought he was going to be like, get out. This is done. And he sat there and he cried to me and he went, I am so sorry. Oh my God. What did I do? What did I do? I did this. I pushed you away. I know I did. I haven't been there. I've been a really bad version of myself. I'm so sorry. And I mean, it was hours of conversation, and I feel like I saw him for the first time ever. And we embraced each other. But you know what we didn't do? We didn't fix that faucet. We didn't fucking fix it. We just let it keep getting filled.
Why?
I don't know, Patrick. Excuses. We're going to go to therapy. We're going to do this work. No, I do know why. We didn't know how. It was so broken. Truly. It was already broken. We didn't even know where to start. And how do you start with two people who don't have the tools to get there?
True. But I'm curious because, and not from an accusatory standpoint, but purely from a curiosity standpoint, in your story, what, because I'm sure you knew that couples therapy existed. Why did you not choose to go to couple? I feel like asking the question that way is so, I don't love the way I just asked that.
That's okay.
But did you talk about going at that point?
Always. Talk. Yes.
And why do you think, especially then, neither of you chose to follow through?
Well, I think that is one of the biggest things about Tim and I's relationship is the follow through. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I mean, maybe him a little bit more as far as actions speaking louder than words. I think that's a big part of our whole problem is that we can say we're going to do this until we're blue in the face, but is it going to actually get done?
Right.
And then life's, and then you add a child to the mix and you add 2 full-time careers and a home and lawns to be mowed and windows to be fixed. And it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. But we did put a little Band-Aid on it by ourselves for a little bit because we embraced each other and we saw each other for the first time. So we were like, okay, let's see if we can fix this and become more intimate and do our best to try to repair something that we don't even know how to fucking repair.
Yeah.
And then time went on again and that little merry-go-round went around and around again. And about a year later, if that, I went, oh, my husband's acting weird now. Oh. And I was trying to fix it. I was trying to be more loving and being more present with him. And then I feel this pull away and I'm like, oh shit. And we know. I know. And then there was the day he left the house and I got into his iCloud on his iPad and boom. There's the text messages from her.
Before you got on the iPad and you were thinking about the what ifs and you said, I knew. Did your mind go to, if I find out, what is the potential alternate future?
I didn't even think about that. No. There was nothing.
Were you processing fear during that point, or just, I have to get to the bottom of this?
Just, I have to get to the bottom of this. I have to know.
Okay.
Yeah. There was no, I mean.
So you were in just like reaction mode. Like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, there it is. Okay. I know. Okay. And so began 6-7 months of trying to save my marriage with another person involved who never really went away.
Oh, like not a therapist at that.
No.
Mean another. Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
No. At that point, he didn't want therapy. At that point,
right.
He checked out.
Yes.
At that point, he was done. At that point, he was expecting me to go, yeah, we're done. Except it went quite the opposite. Quite the opposite for him, which he did not expect. I didn't expect. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So, not reactive at all. I went, made a bath, put on music, lit a candle, sobbed, and screamed.
Are you both conflict avoidant?
What did I do? Totally.
So the battle was who's going to be the bad guy, because I'm not going to be the one to cause this to fall apart and end.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. God.
That's tough.
That's tough. That's tough.
I had to sit there and let that meld for a second, because that's something that, I mean, you're telling a lot of people's story right now.
Yeah, it's, listen, and divorce, it's so crazy how we're just, oh, I'm going through a divorce. I just got divorced. Or, oh, you're divorced? I'm divorced too. Or I'm newly divorced and congratulations. And people just, I mean, our divorce rate is, what is it? 90% now?
Yeah.
It's so normal. It's so just, it's like getting a new pair of tits. I'm divorced. I'm getting my boobs done. You know, same. And we diminish how painful, how unbelievably painful it is. You know, it's dark.
Yeah.
It's lonely. It's scary. It's changed my life.
Yeah.
Forever. I can sit here now and go, thank God. I am so thankful I walked through that fire.
Yeah. Well,
because it made, that day when I found those text messages and the text messages after that, and the things that I hung on to for 7 months, where he made me feel loved and then disconnected and this and that. I never blamed him. I went, what did I do? What did I do? There were so many stages of like, man, I brought a good man down. Let me look at myself. I need to look at myself. I need to change. That's a hard thing to do.
Well, what's interesting is that part of you isn't wrong there, because parts of you did need to change.
Sure.
But probably not the ones that you kept thinking were, do you know what I mean? Like, it fits like a puzzle piece, right? And, looking back in the dysfunction, it's not like, as a people-pleasing, codependent, conflict avoidant.
You wouldn't think I'm conflict avoidant,
right? You're probably you're thinking about all the things like that you did wrong. Like, how do you need to fix this to correct the, and da 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 da. When I was saying, like, but yeah, you were right, just not about the same stuff. What you needed to learn and change was the finding out what you truly liked, what you were missing out on because you were saying yes when you meant no, no when you meant yes. Well,
that, and also mourning parts of Mari who carried me 44 years. Thank you for getting me here, but you no longer serve me.
Exactly.
You no longer serve me. I didn't realize how emotionally immature I was until I was hit face on with the fucking truck going down a highway at 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize how I really made people feel by being so reactive because I didn't know how to communicate or express my feelings. Mm-hmm. Because it came out in a really nasty way, in a defensive way, in a going for the jugular kind of way. I'm so sorry for that. You don't deserve that. I'm the only person in control of how you make me feel. You could sit here and be like, your outfit, whatever. I can either go, fuck you, you look ugly too. Or be like, I'm good. I love that's
cool.
Your perspective. That's your perspective. Yeah. Cool. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
But I chose to go to the dark place. I chose that. Is it right that he continuously made me feel like that? No. Mm-hmm. I screamed to be heard. I screamed to be understood. And I had somebody who just for 10 years went, what are you even talking about? What do you mean? There's nothing wrong. We're fine. Everything's okay. What are you even talking about? And I'm like, I'm trying to tell you. You know, yeah. It's both of us we're both victims. Mm-hmm. We were both toxic. I was toxic. Mm-hmm. He was toxic. Together, we were just a tornado of toxicity.
Is there anything you feel like that could have intervened, or like looking back, is there anything other than that Mack truck hitting you finally that could have made you learn the lesson to start that trajectory of change sooner?
No.
So, no regrets?
No regrets. No regrets.
High five, I can't reach you.
Let's tap.
Steel toe tap. Oh my gosh.
It's wild.
This is the first time I've worn these boots, first of all.
Oh my God, me too. I never wear these, ever.
I mean, I just got mine.
I love those.
So, thank you.
Who makes those?
Did you
what is this brand? Who makes these?
Okay, I take it back. Can you please do this accent for the rest of the interview?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I don't even know what it is. It's maybe like a Ukrainian or like a... It's Anna Delvey. Who makes his boots, Patrick?
I don't know, but where's the payment? Is it
to my Venmo?
It's no. What is it? What is it? What does she say? You'll have the wire. The wire is coming tomorrow morning.
My father's wiring the money in the morning. Yeah. It'll be here tomorrow. It'll be here at 8 a.m. in the morning. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it, Patrick. The money's coming. My daddy's wiring it.
Chill.
What an amazing person. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, wild. Could you imagine just faking it all?
I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing it.
Yeah.
They're just not accomplishing as much as she did.
She was amazing.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
I just it's
pretty shitty.
There's
but
a lot of people faking
awesome.
their way through life.
Just faking it.
Yeah.
You know what? Aren't we all on a little bit of a spectrum? We'd kind of fake it till you make it kind of thing, but not in that capacity.
That way, yeah.
No,
hers was definitely like intentionally,
Yeah.
But
the money's coming.
From a psychological standpoint, human studies, like she is such a fascinating case.
I would. Oh my God, we should have her come to Nashville so we can
swap her on our
podcast.
I don't know if she's done any self-healing. I don't know if I could get away with doing it. I feel like it wouldn't be responsible for me to have her on our show.
I think people are like that are not able to even go there because their identity wouldn't be her anymore. Right. She's so removed from actually who she is. She doesn't even, it's not who she is.
I want to say that I believe enough in the power of mental health and recovery, and I mean I think she probably falls somewhere on the personality disorder spectrum,
sure.
Right? And DBT, which is like there's stuff that can help that.
Sure.
It's just like
if you want it.
I don't know. It's working for her, and it's made her a lot of I feel like it's made her a lot of money now. I mean, prison time, but
Sure, but she made even more money in prison.
that's true. I don't know. Are we doing the wrong?
Are we doing the wrong thing? Should we be con artists together?
We could be like what do you call like people who do bad who break the law but for good, like vigilante.
Oh, yeah, like Robin Hood.
Can you be a vigilante con artist?
Yes, we can. We should start. We could be a brother and sister duo from Ukraine. Hello, it's my brother. Oh,
I'm going to need some help with my accent. Okay, maybe
this was very good. This was good for me. This was not very good for me, Patrick. You have to get a little bit more deep if you want to go this way.
Okay.
We were nothing but beiges and creams and whites on whites.
What's funny is I can't do it right now, but anytime I try, my partner who's from Venezuela, anytime I try to do his accent.
Can you do it right now? Be from Venezuela.
Hello, my country is...
No, it's not bad. Hello.
Normally, it goes Russian. Russian oligarch, which doesn't sound anything close. Like, I don't... Anyway. I'm so shocked.
No, it's great. I think that you should be a voiceover actor.
Really?
Totally.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, we could do that. We'll do that together. Maybe we should do that instead of becoming a con
perfect.
Okay. John Veritas. I don't know how to that's where I got my boots. Love it.
John Veritas.
Yep.
John Veritas. I don't know, but they're incredible.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. If you or a loved one are struggling with trauma, addiction, or mental health, we are ready to answer your questions and help you take that next step. Call our admissions center at 888-648-4098 or visit us online at www.promises.com. Our team is ready and waiting to answer the call for help.
Okay. Where I want to go next is...
Where are we going?
Oh my gosh.
I feel so happy today.
And I'm glad that you do, because this is a reflection of the work that you've done,
Literally 2 days ago, something happened where I left the gym skipping. I got in my car, bawled, the happiest tears I've cried in years. And I said out loud, holy shit, I am responsible for my own happiness.
What brought you to that realization?
Just all the work. And it's something that it's so easy, right? You just say it like we're responsible for our own destiny. We're responsible for my own happiness.
I think it's simple. I don't think it's easy.
Oh, it clicked. And ever since that day, 2 days ago, I have been on this high. I'm responsible for my own happiness.
Yeah.
Nobody else's. I'm going to have, there's no such things as bad days anymore. Hard moments in the day. Mm-hmm. No more bad days.
So tell me what were, if you had to pick 3 major themes or incidents, things you had to go through that taught you hard lessons to break you down to get to that point. You don't get to this stage in our lives this long. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden realize it without going through a catalyst.
Sure. I think that feeling, and not only from my husband, but other people in my life during this process, feeling like I was disposable, which made me feel your worth drops big time. Feeling like I was not chosen in my marriage. That's a really, really painful place to be. Okay,
question. You were not chosen as in when you got together, it was more mandatory, or like it felt like a obligation, or the way that we have to re-choose our spouse over and over.
No, like I physically, I was not chosen. Like at the end of my trying to fight for my marriage for 7 months, he chose the woman that he had. Like I was not chosen.
Gotcha.
I was not chosen.
Yes. Okay.
He chose her over me. And that hurts really bad. Really bad. Feeling like, I guess because I am conflict avoidant or I've never been a person where I don't want to unload all of my stuff on you. I've always been that rock, that light for other people to kind of just do this to. And I'm happy to do that. So for the first time in my life, I felt I was that person, and I exhausted myself, where you're just telling your story over and over, and for over a year it's just so heavy and so dark, and I'm just bleh to these people that I thought wanted to help me, but in the end disposed anyway because maybe it got too much. Maybe it got too much for them, and that hurts because
So people opened up during your trauma.
Yeah.
You shared.
Yeah.
And then they didn't stay there. It is so difficult in divorce. And I can say that while this isn't about me in relating, you and I talked about this in the past of just like loss during divorce and it being so much more than you ever consider before you go through it, what it could be. Because you think about the person. And so I will say that like during my divorce, the God brought like new people into my life that filled the void and were there for me and still are and have stayed around. And that was like a really wonderful thing. Honestly, a trauma that I had to work through was the loss of people that had been there consistently in my life for 10 plus years that I never heard from again.
Ouch.
We're talking a lot of people. And I'm saying that not to turn this around, but the topic is divorce, and we've never done a show specifically about divorce. But it is so important, and like you said, it's so rampant in our country that I think that this story is so meaningful, and the parts that people don't consider can be the parts that are so much more, maybe I shouldn't say more traumatic, but when you're slapped in the face with stuff that you're not prepared for. When you find out you're getting a divorce, the person you're married to is going away. There's so many unknowns about how your relationships that nurture you in other ways are going to be affected from there.
Yeah. You built a life together.
Yeah.
That was what you saw. That was the picture that was painted for you.
Yeah.
The home that you made, the friends that you've accumulated, the just consistent, right? Like,
which pivot for a second begs to question. And I've asked myself this as well. As you reflected on relationships that came and went and how they treated you before, during, and after your divorce, did you at any given point turn inward introspectively to go, wait a second, what have I had a guiding post for like what kind of person I am and how I show up when other people go through divorce? Because do I have my own morals around what is the right way to operate in supporting someone who's going through divorce?
Oh my God, yeah. I am a different friend. When I tell you I'm a different person, I mean, even my mother, when I went back home, she goes, I've never seen you like this. There's a different light about you. You are so present. You are so helpful and there for me. And because that's what I want to be. I don't want to be a person who's just like this anymore. I want to show the fuck up for people who I love in my life. For if you've lost your mother, if you've been through a divorce, if your house burned down, or this, or any kind of whatever you're going through, I'm so sorry, and I want to be there for you.
Yeah.
I want to be there for you. You mean something to me, and I'm going to let you know that you mean something to me. Truly now. My definition for unconditional love has changed.
So I want to ask you what's changed about this. From the sounds of things, before, you felt like you had to be this person and operated as a sponge, an emotional sponge for other people, without having someone else to soak up your stuff. What you're talking about now sounds different. Wanting to be there for people. How have you identified and outlined doing this in a healthy way? Do you know what I mean?
I think that God removed the people that were using me for my light, and has replaced my goodbyes with these beautiful hellos. So now I have these people in my life that don't use me for that. That I respect so much, and they respect me so much, that we can go weeks without saying, "Are you okay?" But we always check in with each other. We always do come around and, "Are you okay? How's things going? How's your heart? How's this?" And it's in such a beautiful, mature way. And it doesn't make anyone feel used, or I don't want to use the word used, but you become that when you're that person that you're like that, I'm sure, right? Put it on me. And it becomes exhausting. You're taking on that people's energy, and it's draining. And I've had so many relationships like that my whole entire life. And it doesn't mean that I don't love you or care about you, because I truly do.
Right.
But you're not in my life like this, like the way that these other people are, for a reason. A reason.
Yeah.
And it's part of my boundaries that I have to, with people. And I don't even have to speak.
We haven't talked about this yet, but I know for me, like I have a lot less people that are, I used to have a lot of people that were, my best friends. And then I had a lot of people that were like friend/acquaintance category in that perimeter. And that for me has, acquaintance, great. But my friends, like the secondary friend category has, that
ship has sailed.
Well, there are people that fill it, but the requirement to be in that category is the bar is so high that it's so much smaller, and I don't see it necessarily growing. I love community, don't get me wrong.
Oh, same.
But the privilege of being close enough to have that much access to my energy, my heart, and then also have it reciprocated. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Oh my gosh. And it does. That's all. But I was just, oh my goshing, because that's such a true statement. But when you said that, I'm like, oh, okay, Becky.
Bro, your vibe attracts your tribe, bro. Vibrations, bro. Quantity over quality, bro. Quality over quantity.
Okay, so I have a really important, not that these all aren't, but this is a significant question. This is a pivot. You change. You grow. You talked about mourning the old Mari that's not coming back because you've grown and healed from that. When that happens, there are a lot of people that end up still being around, but aren't on board because they don't recognize the new you, and they're uncomfortable because they're not willing or interested in doing the work to getting to know that person.
Well, yeah.
Understanding or believing why this version of you is not only authentic, but important. And then embracing.
And I have another beautiful example of that, which is another relationship that I lost along this way. There was a relationship.
What was their first, last name, and social security number?
I'll tell you afterwards.
I'm just kidding.
Someone who I thought was going to be in my life forever.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened, Patrick. That's exactly what happened. And I also realized that I was that not even a doormat. I just kind of let people just, maybe because I have such compassion for human beings. I don't know if it's my older brother's Down syndrome, and I was grown up, just, you love people and we all fuck up. No one's perfect. So I'll forgive over and over again. And I'll just let people just be who they are.
Well,
mess up and they can come back and I'm like, it's okay, man. You're human.
I think because you and I are so similar in our personality types, and we probably have similar trauma at some point that shaped us.
Probably.
Yeah, but when you're a good-hearted person who believes that they're a good-hearted person and wants to be a good-hearted person, and also trauma takes place at some point that gives us a message that certain levels of being treated a certain way and or withheld things that should be given to you is love at some point in our developmental phase becomes what we expect.
Yeah. And you get you get tired of, I don't want to pretend to allow you to do this to me and not say anything. And then I close the door behind me and I'm just like, fuck. And I'm angry, or I lash out, or I tell somebody else.
Yeah.
I talk about you behind your back. I don't want to be that person. I want to tell you.
Yeah.
I want to tell you that you're not allowed to talk to me like this anymore. Or I don't like when this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel good. Or I can say that. Yeah. Respectfully, I love you.
Well,
but this, it's
what you're talking about now is boundary reinforcement. And where I was going with that narrative was, we grew up not even knowing about boundaries.
No.
Therefore, we don't have any that we establish or reinforce.
Sure. Yeah. I grew up, my dad never said I love you, I'm proud of you, or hugged me. I love him. He's an amazing man. We never talked about our feelings. My mom's beautiful and she loves me like this, and physical and touch. And I know that she's proud and there, and they're older now, so they're different. But growing up, we didn't talk about any of that.
Yeah.
I wasn't given those tools. This is all brand new for me.
Correct.
For me to be able to sit here and be vulnerable and talk about my divorce and my heart and is so foreign and feels so good. A rebirth.
Yeah. When you got to a place where you experience the ability to articulate boundaries for the first time and start doing that, how uncomfortable was that? Because I'm thinking about it from the perspective of, as a people pleaser, as someone who's conflict avoidant that just wants to keep the peace and make things good. Typically, I know for me, that felt like a betrayal to who I am, being a good person, and a betrayal to the person that the boundary is for.
I had good practice, I think, when I was trying to save my marriage. I think that's where I really practiced it with my husband. That's where I went, oh, wait, these are things that I need. These are my, what is this boundary word even? What what a beautiful world that we live in, that people talk about all this stuff now. Oh my God.
Yes.
I was like, oh,
And
it's
then
like a real, people like my boundaries. I'm like, no. It's like a very important tool.
Yeah.
Very important tool that was given to me.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of practice with him. And then I actually incorporated it twice in a very real way in the world. One with this person who I'm no longer friends with. Look how that worked out. And it can't, when you have boundaries too, you're not here to go, fuck you, this is my boundary. You go, I love you. This doesn't come from a place of, this is because I love me. This is coming from because I love me so much. And I need to protect my peace at all costs. Yeah. And this is what I need. I'm not doing this or saying this because I'm a dick. I'm not. It's quite the opposite, actually.
Well, and ultimately, a boundary it's primarily for us, but it's secondarily also for the other person, because the boundary, like, I identify a boundary that's needed to protect me from whatever, stuff with the person. But if they're going to continue being in my life, I can't show up authentically if I continue to allow them to violate a boundary that I've identified that needs to be there.
Sure.
So there is a secondary benefit / virtue of...
God bless you.
What?
You said virtue. I said God bless you. I don't know. Sorry, sometimes my ADD.
I love it. But there's secondary virtue of the fact that, like, hey, I want to continue this friendship, this relationship, but in order for this to happen, I've identified, like, I need to ask for this. It's for me, but also you're going to get, like, we'll have a genuine friendship if this can be respected. If it can't,
which it couldn't. I don't think, and that person doesn't even know where to begin. She needs a whole aha moment.
But that's the beauty of boundary. One of the beauty of boundaries, though, I think, is that when you establish it and then enforce it, they're set up to do the work. Because, like,
you'd hope.
Well, do you know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily that person does the work, but, like, at that point, if the boundary is not respected and you enforce it, things wane out, right? Like, you don't have to, you don't have to worry about, oh, I need to close this out, or I need to whatever. I don't know if you ended up doing that officially or not, but most of the time, things typically take care of them. So, you know what I mean? Like, the stuff that most of us, like, get so daunting and think about. Now, granted, there's still mourning of a friendship lost.
Two of them, two big ones, one before and one after. Yeah. I mean, major ones, impactful friendships, people that I considered my best friends, really important people in my life. Loss. It was a loss after loss after loss. And then you're losing a home, and then you're losing everything that you've ever known and all. But yeah, going back to this particular person, I set my boundaries. I spoke my truth. I came from my heart, and that person did what they needed to do with that information.
Yeah.
And that's what they chose. And again, I mourned it and released it and let it go. But there's also something that weight again. That weight again that I went, oh man, spent a long time living in that person's world too. Spent a long time pleasing that person. Spent a long time allowing that person to treat me and say those, it's.
Yes.
So it's like, once again, it's, if you're brave enough to say goodbye, like, God will show you 1,000 new beautiful hellos.
I want to ask you, what, beyond these pieces that we've talked about of taking action, of doing what you need to do, like moving forward in the healing process, what have you done to heal
Oh God.
physically, mentally, and emotionally?
I dove into it.
How?
Oh my God. I put my phone down and number one, I remember sitting outside for hours and I would light a candle and I would just listen to like meditative music and I would sob and sob and sob. And then I just picked up a journal and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I read and I started going to church again and I found God and I dug so deep in my spirituality. And I mean, it was heavy and I want to get back to that place so bad. I incorporate it still, some things daily. I mean, I wake up, I'm so grateful and I pray to God every day and I still write down, but submerging yourself in that is, whew. Yeah. And I would meditate for an hour straight.
Wow.
Sitting there and come out of this trance like, and I'd have visions.
Well, so much of the time, I think that the thing that meditation allows those of us who've been spending so much of our life avoiding who we are, our feelings, being still brings up so much from emotions we've never felt.
Yeah.
Stillness we've never felt.
Yeah.
Peace we've never felt.
What?
Like all the things you just described, like that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah. But I need to get back to that place because, and that was while I was trying to save my marriage, right? That was when the truck hit me head on, where I was faced with all of this, where I dug that deep. And going forward, having my own apartment and actually being separated from my husband, I went on a whole other different journey. And that's another wild fire that you have to walk through.
Yeah.
In a sense of, I think I told you, like you finding what being alone means and finding solitude in that instead of replacing the word alone with solitude.
Yeah.
Which is a whole feat on its own, for me, I was drinking heavily at that moment in my life. I mean, a bottle of wine a night. I would wake up sometimes on the floor next to my bed.
Because you could not handle...
I could not handle anything. I had I couldn't see anything. I would go into my therapy meetings and I go, I cannot see anything. I can't see tomorrow. I can't see an hour from now. I have no idea where I'm headed. I have no idea what's going on. I'm empty. I've got nothing. I have my daughter and I'm trying to stay strong for her. She's not going to see me. I'm not letting her see me like this. So I have to.
What I think is interesting
up.
is that you said that you're empty at that point. And when I ask you what that emptiness, what was in that emptiness before it was empty?
What was in that emptiness before it was empty? Whew. I don't know.
I have an opinion.
Okay, yeah. If you can share that with me, because it was all such a new feel. It was
because
another part of this roller coaster storm that I went from this healing, and I came out of it thinking I was going to be on this trajectory of growth but it led me.
Well, healing isn't linear, first of all.
Yeah.
We want it to be, and I think that no matter, even though like you and I can agree on it, tomorrow I'm going to bargain with reality and be like, wait, no, I thought I was already past. No.
Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah.
It's not linear. And so, but when we talk about like what took up that void that all of a sudden was empty and you're like, what? I don't know what to do with this. Who is this? What is the situation? Well, what normally would occupy your own emotions, opinions, feelings as a people pleaser, it's full of your spouses, your clients, the people in the room, the loudest person in the room, the most moody person in the room. And that's what takes up that space constantly until something roaringly stops your life to the point that it pulls that out.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And you're left with just you for the
Which feels empty.
first time ever.
Exactly. But do you know why it feels empty? Because you don't know how to even recognize that your own voice and your own feelings and opinions are in the room with you. That's from what talking to you and as we've developed our friendship since over the past however month or so. I feel like I can accurately say that is the glow and the joy that I see in you, is that you've been making friends with those things that I just listed off and embracing them for the first time in your life.
Wow. That just hit. Bingo.
It's one of the most beautiful things.
Bingo. Damn. And now here I am.
I just got chills.
Same.
Yeah.
My nipples are hard.
Oh my gosh. Okay. On that note, I want to ask you, for that person that's like struggled, like where you are right now, like what encouragement do you want to leave with the individual who feels lost, who feels like that they're at that point where they're like, yeah, but you don't know my situation. Like I can identify with some of this bullshit that you've talked about today, but like my boat is so different.
Do you know what's so funny, Patrick? I went to my gym yesterday and I went in the sauna, and there was a girl who I was briefly talking to, and I was just kind of had mentioned my divorce. We're talking blah, 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 blah. Oh, I think somebody said, you look great. You look like you lost weight. I said, well, I don't drink every night anymore. I got that on track. You know, I went through a really dark place in my divorce, blah, 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 and I was drinking every single night. I walk out and this beautiful young girl goes, excuse me, I'm so sorry, but I overheard what you were briefly talking about, your divorce. And she started crying. And she goes, I'm going through a divorce right now. It's like, I felt so bad for her. I felt like my heart was, whew. And she goes, I'm signing the papers like next week. And she just started doing this. And she's like, she goes, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I have a daughter. I have a 4-year-old daughter. Can you just tell me, like, what, can you give me some advice? It's so funny that this just happened yesterday. And I said, first of all, I'm so incredibly sorry, obviously, but meet that darkness and grow from it. Let it change your life. Don't ignore any of these feelings. Like, you have to grieve, you have to mourn, you have to grow. Walk through that fire, because the other side is so beautiful.
It is. And I love that you ended with that, because this is the visual representation of what you've learned to do. Self-soothe and hold yourself. Mm-hmm. You will be okay. You will love yourself, and you will take care of yourself.
And I told her, I said, you will never love yourself more.
Yeah.
I have never loved myself more. I am scared of nothing anymore. I can do anything. It's fucking wild.
It is.
I'm like, I'm going to be 45 years old and I get a second chance at life. You're going to be okay. I promise you're going to be okay.
All right, you're on fire. You're going to burn some shit up.
Especially after I get my titties done.
I don't know if we can leave that in the episode or not, but oh my gosh. Oh, I'm dead. I mean, I don't know a better way to close out the show.
Perfect.
Mari, I have to thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
No, well, first of all, you're welcome for no, really, no, I mean it, because I want to acknowledge your gratitude for, having you on the show. But even more than that is, the real gift here is human vulnerability for the trauma that you went through, the fight and what have you. It is no small, I mean, like, your story is going out and it's going to be very public. And, we haven't even talked about this yet, but you've got a wildly successful podcast that I love.
Thank you so much.
The Touch Up.
We are so excited about it. It's bringing us so much joy.
It's not just you, not just y'all.
Good.
Y'all have to listen to it. Is the full name The Touch Up with Taryn and Mari, or is it just The Touch Up?
The Touch Up.
Okay.
The Touch Up. Taryn Feldman and Mari Brown.
I can't believe that y'all got The Touch Up. Like,
yeah, right? That nobody took it.
Yeah.
I know. What a great name. And it's all like aspects. Touch up anything.
Yep.
Touch up just all aspects of your life.
Yes.
And it's not linear, our podcast.
It's not.
It started very glammy, but
it's all over the place in the best ways.
We want a half hour, 40 minutes of you walking away going, that was silly.
Yeah.
That was an easy, fun listen with great guests.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's bringing us so much joy. We are joyful people. We are truly who we are, and we want to spread that in a world that sometimes is not so light and beautiful, and we need a little bit more of that.
You are. I mean, when I said talk about that light burning things up, you are doing that with Miss Taryn Feldman.
Yeah, she's unbelievable.
Wait, is it pronounced Fieldman or Feldman?
Let's call her Fieldman.
Fieldman.
It's Feldman, but I'm going to start calling her
Taryn
Fieldman.
We love you.
Fieldman. Yeah,
Get over here right now.
Over here right now, Taryn Feldman. You've been a very bad girl. Okay.
All right. We should make sure that goes in one of the media teasers so the maximum amount of people see it.
100%.
Okay. Thank you for staying through the laughs, the tears. Sorry if you did not think we were as funny as we thought we were. But this has been a very powerful, meaningful, impactful episode. So grateful for you, your resilience, the fact that you're here, and the work you've done, Mari. Thank you,
Patrick. Truly an honor to be here. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's so amazing meeting you and talking with you, and you are a bright light. And
ditto.
Yeah.
Thanks to our audience. You all are a bright light as well, and we're so grateful for you. Thanks for being here. Hope you come back. Stay tuned for our next episode, and remember, it's never too late to start loving yourself, and you're always only one decision away from a completely different life.
This podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. If you or a loved one are struggling with trauma, addiction, or mental health, we are ready to answer your questions and help you take that next step. Call our admissions center at 888-648-4098 or visit us online at www.promises.com. Our team is ready and waiting to answer the call for help.